Before we cross into the unknown, leave a hello in the comments. Even the smallest signal can ripple across galaxies, guiding fellow wanderers to this tale. Let me know you're out there. A voice among the stars, listening with me beyond the veil. Engines roared as the fleet cleared Earth's orbit, the last whispers of humanity clinging to metal and fire. I, Admiral Cale Rinn, watched the moon's horizon flare with alien corvette strikes. Our defenses faltered, satellites fell silent. Betrayal, or oversight, didn't matter now. The enemy had claimed our natural sentinel. Panic rippled through the command decks, but I kept my voice steady. Focus, calculate, strike where they least expect. Humanity's patience was a buried weapon, one the galaxy would soon regret ignoring. We activated hidden protocols embedded within our lunar arrays. Signals pulsed unseen, harnessing the moon's gravity in ways the invaders hadn't anticipated. Oceans on their worlds began to stir violently, tidal forces tearing cities apart before their eyes. From my command chair, I could see their disbelief. They had underestimated Earth, underestimating the subtle machinery of survival. Every destroyed satellite was a warning, every rising tide a promise. Soon they would learn what it means to steal a rock from a species that never surrendered. The first reports came in via long-range relays, coastal metropolises on the enemy homeworld buckling under waves the size of mountains. Engineers on our ships adjusted orbital trajectories to maximize lunar leverage. "Admiral, they're evacuating population centers," my communications officer exclaimed. The fleet held its formation, silent but lethal, a predator waiting to strike. Strategy was no longer confined to weapons. Physics itself became a weapon, and Earth's satellites were our unseen hands. I watched the enemy's flagship falter in orbit, its shields flickering as gravitational anomalies strained the hull. "Deploy the secondary pulse," I ordered. The crew moved like a single organism, manipulating energies drawn from tides and tectonics. Across the holographic displays, cities cracked, storms formed instantly, and panic spread like wildfire. For once, humanity did not fight with guns or missiles, but with intellect, patience, and inevitability. Our revenge was quiet, terrifying, unstoppable, echoing the tension aboard the command cruiser Vigilant. Every satellite in geosynchronous orbit had been reconfigured for this moment, each a node in a web of orbital dominance. Sensors detected enemy countermeasures, cloaked vessels attempting evasive maneuvers, but our predictive algorithms anticipated each move. "They believe they understand our tech," I muttered to Commander Sira. "They do not." Every orbit adjustment, every pulse emission was calculated decades in advance. Humanity's patience was not weakness, it was inevitability. From the observation deck I glimpsed the havoc below. Tidal surges, earthquakes, and atmospheric turbulence tore at cities like paper. The invaders scrambled, deploying conventional weapons against forces they could neither see nor counter. Our satellites shifted silently, invisible hands cracking their civilization. Communication intercepts revealed their terror, something they had never expected from a species deemed primitive. This was more than warfare. It was a statement. The moon had been taken, but Earth would reclaim its dominion. On their world. Sensors screamed as the enemy attempted a planetary shield. Waves clashed with their dome, bending it, straining its energy grid. "They think shields can stop physics," I growled. "Calculate impact nodes for maximum effect." Orbital drones synchronized with lunar pulses, magnifying the tide's wrath. Crew members exchanged glances. The tension was palpable, but determination held firm. Humanity did not merely retaliate. It orchestrated disaster with precision, and the enemy had no idea what was coming. Onboard comms, panic erupted from the enemy high command. Cities along their equator buckled under synchronized tidal surges. Their ships wavered in orbit, struggling against forces they had dismissed as trivial. "Initiate Phase 2, I commanded, heart steady despite the chaos. Energy from the moon's hidden arrays amplified. Coastal metropolises cracked. Inland rivers burst into torrents. From my perspective, the planet was no longer theirs. Every decision, every move, was guided by humanity's silent hand, and the invaders would soon beg the mercy they had never granted. Our fleet repositioned for orbital dominance. The enemy attempted to flee toward the outer sectors, but gravitational anomalies kept them trapped. Commander Syrah reported massive energy fluctuations across the planet's core. Our manipulations had reached the mantle. "They are breaking their own planet, trying to escape us," she whispered. I nodded. Humanity had not fired a single missile, yet our vengeance was absolute. The invaders' arrogance was a tide that would drown them. From my deck, I observed rising storms like jagged scars across the surface. Satellites emitted pulsed frequencies, guiding oceans into chaotic, unstoppable paths. On the enemy planet, civilizations crumbled in hours, not days. I allowed myself a grim smile. This was what it meant to underestimate Earth. The moon had been stolen, but it had merely been the opening gambit. Our true weapon was patience, calculation, and a planet's quiet fury, and now the invaders would feel its full weight. Orbital platforms adjusted, realigning satellites to new vectors. Atmospheric simulations predicted storms larger than anything in recorded history. I watched the holographic projection of their planet, their cities mere cracks beneath the onslaught. "Admiral, their countermeasures are collapsing," Syrah reported, her voice tight with awe. Lightning danced along the surface, arcs of energy sculpted by lunar pulses. We did not strike with missiles or lasers. Earth wielded tides and tectonics, silent but lethal, like a god sculpting chaos from orbit. The enemy attempted a desperate evacuation from coastal hubs, but the gravitational anomalies made trajectories unpredictable. Ships careened, slammed against orbital debris, or were pulled into sudden storms. "They're panicking," I muttered. "Good, let them feel every mistake." Every satellite adjustment was a masterstroke, amplifying natural disasters and magnifying fear. I could almost hear their realization. Their stolen moon had become a weapon, and every strategy they had prepared was failing in the face of patient, calculated fury. The fleet synchronized with the lunar nodes. Energy pulses resonated through orbital conduits, bending the enemy's planetary core slightly with each beat. Our scientists had predicted the effects: earthquakes, tidal surges, and destabilized tectonics. "It's working," Syrah whispered, her eyes locked on the chaos below. From space, the planet looked like a living organism in agony, its crust splitting and oceans heaving violently. Humanity had transformed patience into a weapon more precise than any fleet. Enemy communications were fragmented, filled with cries of confusion and terror. Their tactical fleet attempted a coordinated strike, but every approach vector was intercepted by gravitational distortions. The tide itself fought against them. "Deploy the secondary satellite array," I ordered. Pulses emitted from hidden nodes synchronized with lunar gravity, magnifying the planet's natural forces. In minutes, their most populous regions were unrecognizable. I leaned back in my chair, feeling the inevitability of history. Earth, patient and clever, was reclaiming its stolen moon and rewriting the rules of war. Our drones flitted across the planet's orbit, scanning and relaying data. Every enemy shield flicker, every frantic maneuver was cataloged and countered. "They don't realize they're fighting themselves," I said. Onboard displays showed massive quakes splitting cities, hurricanes twisting through industrial centers. The invaders' command network was fragmenting, their leadership paralyzed by forces they could neither see nor predict. Humanity's hand moved silently, unstoppable, and they had no idea the rock they stole was their undoing. Syrah pointed to a new anomaly: tidal waves converging on inland regions, previously considered safe. "They'll have nowhere to regroup." Indeed, their retreat paths collapsed under synchronized gravitational forces. Ships stalled mid-flight, caught in invisible currents. Communications faltered, morale crumbled, and panic became contagious. Our vengeance was methodical, elegant, and terrifying. I allowed myself a grim satisfaction. The moon had been a pawn. Now, Earth's patience and her science was the executioner, reshaping the battlefield without a single traditional shot fired, thrumming through my chest as we observed tidal energy cascading across the enemy's oceans. Coastal cities were gone. Inland settlements buckled under engineered quakes. Every satellite pulse was a hammer, every gravitational shift a scalpel. They underestimated us, I said, voice low. They never imagined we'd weaponize our planet itself. Crew members watched, riveted and tense as predicted disaster unfolded with horrifying precision. Humanity's vengeance was quiet, intelligent, and total. Enemy fleets attempted escape into the upper atmosphere, only to be shredded by magnetic distortions we had activated. Ships spun out of control, colliding with orbital debris or being torn apart mid-air. They thought stealing the moon gave them power, I murmured. They forgot what patience looks like. Humanity's silent war had begun not with a roar, but with inevitability. And now, the galaxy would witness a species that could turn the tides, literally, into a weapon that no army, no matter how advanced, could resist. Our fleet is repositioned, preparing for the final phase. The enemy's homeworld was fractured, storms erupting with relentless force. Evacuations failed. Communications were static. I felt the satisfaction of controlled inevitability. Humanity had not attacked blindly. We had orchestrated chaos from a distance, every calculation precise, every pulse exact. They are trapped in the storm they never understood, Sirah whispered, and indeed, from orbit the planet looked like a living disaster, a masterpiece of revenge. I issued the last orders, activating the final satellite array to maximize tidal resonance. Oceans surged inland, storms converged, and tectonic activity peaked. Entire cities vanished in minutes. From my vantage point, the enemy's screams were carried only through intercepted comms, but the message was clear. The rock they stole had become their executioner. Humanity's patience, science, and cunning had rewritten the rules of war. And as the tides consumed their world, I allowed myself a single thought. Earth never screams. It waits. Orbital drones scanned the enemy's command hubs. Their communications were fragmented, panic evident in every transmission. "Admiral, they're attempting to centralize control," Sirah reported. I leaned over the holographic table, tracing energy flows. The enemy's desperation was predictable, but futile. Every move they made collided with the invisible currents we had engineered. Earth's satellites were no longer silent observers. They were hunters, guiding tides and tectonics to cut the planet into chaos. An enemy war council convened beneath collapsing skylines, their faces masks of disbelief. Orders collided with physics itself. Ships stalled mid-flight, weapons misfired, and evacuation corridors became traps. "Deploy the tertiary arrays," I commanded. Energy cascaded from lunar nodes, amplifying magnetic disruptions and tidal waves. From my command deck, I watched the enemy crumble, not in fire, but in the inevitability of nature manipulated. Humanity's patience was absolute. Their arrogance had met a precision it could never overcome, reverberating through the command cruiser as we monitored the devastation. Earth's satellites pulsed again, this time triggering synchronized storms in previously untouched zones. "They're splitting their forces," Sirah noted, her eyes wide. Coastal cities were gone, inland areas failing, and orbital fleets faltering. Panic had become strategic leverage. Every escape route collapsed, every ship trapped by invisible gravitational currents. Humanity had weaponized patience, physics, and foresight, and the enemy had nowhere left to run. From the observation deck, I watched a fleet fragment mid-evacuation. Magnetic anomalies tore hulls apart, tidal pulses shredded surface installations, and the enemy struggled to comprehend the rules of engagement. They thought victory was a given, I said quietly. They underestimated patience, precision, and physics. The crew exchanged solemn nods. Humanity's retaliation was not about brute force, it was about control, inevitability, and rewriting the laws of war. And soon the invaders would beg for mercy from the very rock they had stolen. We synchronized orbital arrays to the planet's tectonic rhythm. Seismic activity intensified, oceans boiled in controlled surges, and atmospheric anomalies accelerated. "They're trying to relocate population centers," Sira said. "Futile." Every effort was countered before it could be executed. Humanity's vengeance was methodical, guided by decades of calculation. I could almost hear the invaders' disbelief as Earth's quiet fury reshaped their planet in real time. Enemy ships attempted orbital reinforcements, only to be caught in energy vortices generated by our satellites. Coastal evacuations became death traps. Inland centers fractured under synchronized tidal surges. "Engage the quaternary array," I commanded. Pulses amplified gravity and magnetic flux, tearing the planet further apart. From my command chair, I watched history unfold. The invaders were learning too late that stealing Earth's moon was the first mistake in a war they would never win. The fleet repositioned to target secondary fault lines. Storms collided, waves merged, and cities vanished in synchronized devastation. Sira leaned over the display. "Their fleet. It's breaking apart." Indeed, orbital sensors confirmed fragmentation and loss of cohesion. Humanity's weapon was no longer visible, yet omnipresent. Every city struck, every ship incapacitated, was a testament to calculated patience. The art of war elevated to planetary engineering. The enemy attempted to regroup in the upper atmosphere, but magnetic disruptions flung vessels into chaotic orbits. Evacuation protocols failed catastrophically. Their screams were silent to us, transmitted only through intercepted communications. I allowed a grim satisfaction. They had stolen a rock they did not understand. Now, the rock's quiet might was reclaiming dominion. Humanity's war was not about firepower. It was about inevitability, precision, and the unyielding patience of a species underestimated for too long. Orbital sensors traced the final collapse of enemy urban centers. Earth's hidden satellites pulsed with calculated ferocity, guiding tides, earthquakes, and storms with precision. "They're losing command structure entirely," Sira noted. Communications were fractured, fleets were disoriented, population centers crumbled under the perfect synchronization of orbital engineering. Humanity's patience had become execution, turning the stolen moon into a weapon no traditional army could oppose. From the command deck, I watched the enemy struggle against an unstoppable tide, both literal and figurative. Their ships collided, shields failed, and every tactical decision was undermined by invisible forces. "They underestimated Earth," I said, "and that is their undoing." The planet below was unrecognizable, a testament to controlled chaos. Humanity's vengeance was complete, but quiet. We did not scream, we did not fire recklessly. We waited, and in our waiting, we won. We aligned orbital arrays to the planet's fault lines. Seismic sensors flickered, reading unprecedented stress levels. "Admiral, crustal displacement exceeding all predictions," Sira reported. Every quake, every tidal pulse was no accident. It was carefully orchestrated, a symphony of destruction guided from orbit. Humanity's vengeance did not rely on bombs or lasers. It relied on understanding the very planet beneath the enemy's feet. On the enemy's surface, command centers collapsed mid-deliberation. Ships stalled over fractured terrain. Evacuation fleets were trapped in swirling gravitational currents. "They cannot comprehend this," I said softly. Their arrogance, their belief in simple conquest, had blinded them to the precision of Earth's engineering. Every pulse was a reminder. The stolen moon was their undoing. Humanity's patience, combined with technology and cunning, was absolute and unstoppable. Our fleet repositioned, satellites pulsing in perfect synchronization. Enemy reconnaissance attempted to probe our arrays, only to be shredded by controlled gravitational distortions. "They are blind to the architecture of our strategy," Sira murmured. From orbit, the enemy planet was a chaotic masterpiece. Oceans in revolt, cities collapsing, fleets paralyzed. Humanity's war was invisible yet omnipotent. Magnetic and tidal pulses coordinated to target isolated settlements, severing evacuation corridors. The enemy high command was fractured, and communication was impossible. "Initiate the secondary phase," I ordered. Satellites amplified stresses along fault lines, triggering cascading earthquakes. Every structure, every fleet, every decision was countered before it could even manifest. The enemy's arrogance had met the quiet fury of a species that never screamed but always waited. Energy conduits from lunar satellites reached peak output. Oceans tore inland with precision, storms collided, and volcanic activity surged at key nodes. "They're attempting to regroup," Sira reported. "It won't work." Humanity's vengeance was methodical. Every pulse, every wave, every quake had been calculated decades in advance. The invaders' planet was a clockwork of chaos, and we held the mechanism. Orbital scans revealed scattered fleets floundering against invisible currents. Ships collided with debris or were drawn into unstable vortices. "They underestimated patience," I said, "and that is always fatal." From the command deck, I watched civilization crumble beneath orchestrated natural disasters. Humanity had not fired a single traditional weapon, yet the invaders were broken. The stolen moon was no longer theirs. It had become the epicenter of their undoing. Our satellites shifted to intercept the remaining orbital fleets. Magnetic disruptions tore through hulls, and gravitational anomalies flung vessels into chaos. "They cannot form a cohesive strike," Sira noted. Their arrogance had left them exposed to forces beyond comprehension. Every tactical decision was preempted by orbital calculations. Humanity's vengeance was a silent predator, striking not with firepower, but with inevitability. Planetary sensors reported complete devastation in the coastal regions. Inland areas fractured, rivers surged uncontrollably, and the atmosphere was a storm-ridden nightmare. Enemy fleets were reduced to drifting wreckage, scrambling with futile energy bursts. "They will beg for mercy soon," I murmured. Humanity's quiet patience had matured into absolute control. The stolen moon, once their prize, now guided their destruction. In this battle, intellect and foresight had triumphed over arrogance and force. The final satellite nodes activated, pulsing in perfect harmony with the stolen moon. Oceans, tectonics, and magnetic fields synchronized into a crescendo of destruction. "This is the final phase," Sira said, voice trembling with awe. From orbit, the enemy's homeworld was unrecognizable, chaos sculpted with precision. Humanity's vengeance had reached its apex, silent yet absolute. Surviving enemy commanders attempted desperate appeals, but their words were meaningless against nature's engineered fury. Ships drifted uselessly, cities vanished beneath coordinated tidal surges, and storms tore through inland strongholds. I allowed myself a grim smile. The moon, their stolen prize, had judged them. Humanity had not screamed, had not wasted its strength. We had waited, calculated, and executed. And in that quiet patience we had won. Not just battles, but the absolute certainty of retribution. Orbital sensors tracked the few remaining enemy strongholds. High mountain cities, long considered refugees, buckled under synchronized seismic and tidal forces. "They think elevation saves them," Sira muttered. I studied the projections. Every fault line had been mapped, every gravitational pulse calibrated. Humanity's vengeance was not brute. It was inevitability, unfolding with the precision of a cosmic metronome. Enemy ships attempted risky ascents into orbit, only to be shredded by magnetic vortices. Communication networks flickered, leadership fractured, and panic spread like wildfire. "Initiate tertiary phase," I commanded. Hidden satellite arrays released calibrated energy pulses, amplifying tidal surges inland and along mountain valleys. The last bastions of enemy civilization were being methodically erased. Patience had triumphed. The stolen moon had become the instrument of absolute judgment. Our fleet encircled the planet. Remaining alien fleets drifted helplessly against invisible currents, magnetic anomalies, and gravitational distortions. "They cannot even organize a strike," Sirah noted. From orbit, their world was a storm-ravaged landscape. Cities gone, oceans uncontrolled, fleets fractured. Humanity had weaponized physics itself. The invaders were trapped in a storm they could neither control nor comprehend. Panic erupted in their orbital command hubs. Evacuation corridors failed, ships collided, and shields collapsed under invisible forces. "Activate quaternary nodes," I ordered. Satellites pulsed, amplifying tidal and seismic forces in perfect synchronization. Each disaster was precise, each collapse engineered. The enemy's arrogance had led them here, against a species that waited, calculated, and struck with inevitability. The stolen moon now ruled their fate. We observed the last functioning cities crumble. Inland fortresses, once considered safe, shattered under amplified seismic waves. "They're trying to rebuild command networks," Sirah said. "It won't last." Humanity's vengeance was systemic. Every pulse, every tidal surge, every calculated quake was designed to dismantle not just structures but the very illusion of control. Enemy fleets attempted coordinated strikes, only to be caught mid-flight by gravitational distortions. Communications were fractured, morale was shattered, and leadership was lost. "Deploy the secondary arrays for final reinforcement," I commanded. Energy rippled from lunar nodes, amplifying planetary instability. Civilization below fractured, and even those who survived the waves faced a planet transformed into chaos. Humanity's silent fury was absolute, and the stolen moon had delivered judgment. Storms intensified, converging on enemy population centers. Lightning arcs danced with tidal waves, volcanic eruptions timed to coincide with magnetic pulses. "They thought they could steal from us and remain untouched," Sirah whispered. Every element of Earth's arsenal had been weaponized. Not missiles, not lasers, but physics itself. Humanity had waited, and now the reckoning had come. Remaining alien fleets struggled against orbital currents, their ships battered by unseen forces. Coastal regions were obliterated, inland cities fractured, and evacuation attempts failed spectacularly. "Engage the final resonance array," I ordered. Lunar and orbital nodes harmonized, magnifying every force already unleashed. From the command deck, I watched the last remnants of order crumble. The invaders had underestimated patience, precision, and intellect, and now they would pay the ultimate price. The final satellite pulses synchronized with the stolen moon. Oceans surged with unstoppable momentum, tectonics erupted, and the atmosphere churned into a stormy frenzy. "This is it," Sirah said, awe in her voice. From orbit, the enemy homeworld was unrecognizable. A masterpiece of orchestrated destruction. Humanity's vengeance had reached its climax, absolute and undeniable. The last enemy leaders attempted desperate pleas, but the planet itself judged them. Ships drifted helplessly. Cities vanished under tidal onslaughts, and storms tore through every stronghold. I allowed myself a grim smile. Humanity did not scream. We did not strike blindly. We waited. We calculated. We executed. And in that quiet patience, Earth had reclaimed its stolen moon, and delivered a verdict the galaxy would never forget. The last enemy fleets struggled to maintain orbit. Magnetic anomalies shredded hulls, gravitational distortions flung ships into debris fields. "They cannot stabilize," Sira said, tension in her voice. Every maneuver they attempted collided with invisible forces we controlled. Humanity's vengeance was precise, relentless, and patient. The stolen moon had become their captor. Orbital sensors tracked fleeing command ships. Every route they attempted was anticipated, disrupted, and neutralized. "Deploy the secondary orbital pulse," I ordered. Energy rippled through satellites, magnifying tides, quakes, and storms below. The enemy's arrogance had led them here, against a species that weaponized physics itself. Every collapse, every failure was choreographed. Humanity's patience had matured into unstoppable power. Hidden satellite arrays pulsed, unseen but devastating. Inland populations fractured under engineered seismic waves. Coastal cities vanished beneath tidal surges. "They thought they understood us," I murmured. They did not. Humanity's weapon was subtle, omnipresent, and inevitable. Every calculation had predicted this moment, the moment when arrogance met absolute control. Enemy fleets attempted countermeasures but were flung into chaotic orbits, shredded by magnetic turbulence. Communication networks collapsed entirely. "Activate tertiary arrays for precision strikes," I commanded, each pulse synchronized with planetary forces, amplifying natural disasters with surgical precision. The invaders' civilization unraveled, a testament to human patience, strategy, and intellect. The stolen moon had judged them, and they could do nothing but watch. Remaining enemy strongholds were hammered by orbital pulses. Fortresses once thought impregnable crumbled under synchronized quakes and tidal surges. "They're trying to fight back," Sira noted. "It's futile." Humanity's assault did not rely on brute force. It relied on inevitability. Every action the invaders took was anticipated and neutralized. Satellite arrays released amplified energy pulses, further destabilizing tectonics and oceans. Ships attempting escape collided or were drawn into orbital traps. "Engage the quaternary phase," I commanded. The planet convulsed in perfect synchronization with our nodes. Civilization fractured, morale collapsed. The enemy had underestimated patience, precision, and human ingenuity. The stolen moon, once their prize, had become the instrument of their total defeat. We surveyed the devastation. The planet's surface was fractured, oceans boiled, storms raged with engineered intensity. "They have nothing left," Sira whispered. Humanity's vengeance was total, yet silent. Every satellite, every tidal pulse, every quaking fault line had done its part. The invaders' arrogance had met its match in calculated inevitability. Fleets floundered helplessly in orbital chaos. Communications were shattered. Leadership was gone. I watched from the command deck as civilization unraveled beneath engineered forces. "Prepare final pulses," I ordered. The lunar arrays synchronized perfectly, magnifying every disaster. Humanity's patience, intellect, and engineering had triumphed. The stolen moon was no longer theirs. It was the judge, jury, and executioner of their failed ambition. The final satellite arrays aligned with the lunar nodes. Oceans surged inland, tectonic faults split cities, and storms converged in orchestrated fury. "This is it," Sira said, awe in her voice. From orbit, the enemy world was unrecognizable, a masterpiece of engineered destruction. Humanity's vengeance had reached absolute culmination. Remaining leaders attempted desperate communication, but the planet itself refused their commands. Ships drifted helplessly, cities vanished beneath tidal waves, storms tore through the last strongholds. I allowed a grim smile. Humanity did not scream, did not act impulsively. We waited, calculated, and executed. In our patience, the stolen moon had judged the invaders, and Earth had reclaimed both honor and power. We monitored the last pockets of enemy resistance. Isolated cities clung to survival amidst tidal floods and seismic chaos. "They're gathering remnants," Sira said, her voice tight. I studied the projections. Every rally point had been anticipated, every evacuation route compromised. Humanity's vengeance was surgical. Nothing moved without consequence. Orbital sensors tracked fleeing ships as hidden satellite arrays generated magnetic vortices. Fleets collided mid-air or were flung helplessly into storms. "Activate secondary nodes," I commanded. Energy pulses amplified planetary chaos, erasing hope and coordination. The invaders' arrogance had trapped them in a storm they could not predict. Every move was countered before it began, and their civilization teetered on the edge of oblivion. Tidal surges synchronized with lunar pulses, reaching unprecedented heights. Coastal regions were obliterated. Inland rivers tore through cities with unstoppable force. "They underestimated the moon," Sira murmured. Humanity had weaponized physics itself, turning Earth's quiet patience into absolute retribution. Every wave, every quaking fault struck with calculated precision. Enemy fleets attempted evacuation via orbital corridors, only to be shredded by gravitational anomalies. Communications flickered, command structures fractured. "Deploy tertiary arrays," I ordered. Pulses magnified storms and earthquakes simultaneously. From orbit, the planet was unrecognizable, a world punished not by firepower but by the mastery of knowledge and patience. The stolen moon had become their executioner, and humanity watched silently as chaos consumed them. The last enemy fleets struggled to maintain coherence. Magnetic currents ripped hulls apart, orbital debris shredded ships mid-flight. "They have no formation left," Sira said. Humanity's vengeance was invisible yet complete, a quiet hand guiding inevitability. The moon, stolen in arrogance, had become a weapon of absolute control. Orbital pulses synchronized with tectonic disruptions, targeting remaining cities and infrastructure. Evacuation attempts failed spectacularly. Chaos reigned. "Activate quaternary arrays," I commanded. The planet's surface convulsed under the orchestration of satellites and lunar resonance. Humanity's patience, intellect, and precision had triumphed. The invaders had underestimated the quiet fury of a species that never surrendered, and the moon had delivered judgment. Satellite arrays reached maximum synchronization with lunar nodes. Oceans boiled inland, tectonic plates shifted violently, and storms tore across the surface with engineered intensity. "They have nothing left," Sira whispered. Humanity's vengeance was total and precise, calculated over decades. Every disaster was orchestrated to dismantle both civilization and hope. Fleeing fleets collided with debris or were pulled into gravitational traps. Communication networks failed. "Prepare final resonance pulse," I ordered. Lunar and orbital arrays harmonized, magnifying chaos across the planet. Civilization collapsed in minutes. The stolen moon had become both judge and executioner, and humanity's patience had delivered a verdict that no invader could escape. The final satellite pulses completed their cycle. Oceans, tectonics, and atmosphere converged in a cataclysmic symphony. "It's done," Sira said, voice filled with awe. From orbit, the enemy homeworld was unrecognizable, a testament to calculated patience, intelligence, and technological mastery. Humanity had won without firing a single conventional missile. The remaining leaders attempted communication, but the planet itself denied their commands. Ships drifted helplessly. Cities vanished beneath tidal surges. Storms tore through all strongholds. I allowed a grim smile. We did not scream. We did not waste strength. We waited, calculated, and executed. In our quiet patience, the stolen moon had judged the invaders, and Earth had reclaimed honor, vengeance, and power. We observed the last remaining alien enclaves clinging to survival. Scattered fleets floundered in orbital chaos. Inland fortresses quaked beneath synchronized tidal surges. "They're grasping at straws," Sira said. Humanity's vengeance had stripped them of strategy, patience, and hope. The stolen moon had become their unseen executioner. Orbital satellites released precise magnetic pulses, destabilizing every remaining stronghold. Ships attempting escape collided or were trapped by gravity anomalies. "Deploy tertiary nodes," I ordered. Every move they made, every desperate maneuver was anticipated. Civilization below disintegrated under engineered chaos. Humanity had proven that intellect, patience, and control could achieve victory where firepower alone would fail. The planet writhed under synchronized disasters. Oceans surged inland. Earthquakes shattered inland strongholds. Storms tore across the atmosphere with engineered precision. "They believed the moon could save them," Sira whispered. "They were wrong." Humanity had weaponized natural forces, turning patience into an unstoppable weapon. The remaining orbital fleets were shredded by magnetic vortices and gravitational turbulence. Communication networks collapsed entirely, leaving leadership isolated and disoriented. "Activate quaternary arrays," I commanded. Tectonic and tidal forces converged in perfect harmony, accelerating the final collapse. The stolen moon had become the instrument of judgment, and Earth's silent fury had left nothing for the invaders to salvage. Tidal surges synchronized with lunar pulses, reaching unimaginable heights. Coastal and inland regions alike were swept into chaos. "They cannot regroup," Sira said. Humanity's control over physics itself had become undeniable. The moon, once stolen in arrogance, now dictated the fate of an entire civilization. Enemy ships attempted desperate evasions, only to collide with debris or be flung into orbital storms. "Deploy secondary nodes," I ordered. Energy pulses magnified seismic and tidal chaos. From orbit, the planet was unrecognizable. A world punished by intellect, strategy, and patience rather than missiles or lasers. Humanity's vengeance had matured into absolute dominion. Remaining alien leadership scrambled futilely across fractured continents. Communication networks were destroyed, evacuation routes eliminated, and orbital fleets crippled. "They have no control left," Sira observed. Every move they attempted collided with the invisible hand of Earth's strategic design. Patience had become power, and chaos had become inevitable. Tertiary and quaternary satellite arrays pulsed in unison, amplifying every disaster already unfolding. Oceans, tectonics, and storms converged with precision. Every city, every fleet, every command hub fell under engineered fury. The stolen moon had become both weapon and judge. Humanity's patient, calculated vengeance was complete and irreversible. The final synchronization of lunar and orbital pulses unfolded. Oceans surged with unstoppable momentum, tectonics erupted violently, and storms tore across the surface in orchestrated fury. "It's over," Sira whispered. From orbit, the enemy homeworld was unrecognizable, a monument to precise, patient vengeance. Humanity had triumphed without traditional warfare, proving intellect and patience could surpass brute force. Remaining leaders attempted desperate communications, but the planet itself denied them. Ships drifted helplessly. Cities vanished beneath tidal surges. Storms obliterated every stronghold. I allowed myself a grim satisfaction. Humanity did not scream, did not act impulsively. We waited, calculated, and executed. In our quiet patience, Earth had reclaimed its stolen moon and delivered absolute judgment across the stars. The last alien fleets drifted aimlessly in orbital chaos. Sensor grids confirmed the absence of organized command. "They're silent," Sira noted. Silence carried weight, a quiet, resigned acknowledgement that their civilization had been broken. Humanity's patient orchestration of nature had left no room for argument, no path to resistance. Orbital satellites maintained gravitational pulses to ensure the remnants could not regroup. Evacuation corridors were blocked by engineered anomalies. I studied the enemy transmissions, broken, fragmented, begging for terms. "Prepare to initiate contact," I ordered. They would speak to us on Earth's terms. The stolen moon had delivered judgment. Now diplomacy would finalize dominance. Communication relays broadcast a single message across the remaining enemy channels. "Cease resistance. Acknowledge defeat." The alien commanders hesitated, their pride shattered by the orchestration of planetary forces. Humanity's patience had been the weapon. Now words would seal the outcome. Sensors confirmed the first acts of compliance. Orbital fleets deactivated, cities abandoned, and weapon systems powered down. "They understand the stakes," Sira said. Humanity's quiet fury had imposed absolute order without conventional battle. The stolen moon, once a symbol of their arrogance, now underscored the inevitability of our supremacy. Negotiations would follow, but the outcome was already written. Earth's emissaries are prepared to interface with alien command nodes. Protocols ensured compliance before dialogue. "They will learn humility," I murmured. The galaxy would witness a species that conquered not by brute force, but by patience, intellect, and mastery of planetary physics. Orbital arrays pulsed lightly, a reminder of Earth's unseen oversight. The enemy's surrender was meticulous. Fleets grounded, weapons disarmed, and cities stabilized under controlled recovery. Humanity's patience had achieved what direct assault never could. The stolen moon was no longer a symbol of theft. It was a testament to calculated, inevitable dominance. Earth's fleet established orbital oversight of the former enemy world. Sensors scanned for residual threats, satellites maintained controlled gravitational stabilization, and the environment slowly began to normalize. Humanity's orchestration of victory extended into reconstruction, ensuring no resurgence could occur. Alien leaders, humbled and fractured, complied with Earth's directives. "This is how the galaxy will learn," I said. Our patience, technology, and intellect had imposed order without widespread destruction beyond what was necessary. The moon, once stolen, remained a sentinel, a reminder of humanity's quiet, absolute dominance. The galaxy would remember. Orbital platforms remained stationed above the subdued planet. Lunar nodes monitored planetary stability, tides, and tectonics, ensuring compliance. "They will think twice before challenging Earth again," Sira noted. Humanity had transformed the stolen moon from a symbol of loss into a testament of calculated retribution and enduring vigilance. The alien population began tentative reconstruction under Earth's oversight. Communication networks restored, fleets grounded, and cities stabilized. I allowed myself a rare moment of reflection. Humanity did not triumph through aggression alone. We triumphed through patience, intellect, and strategy. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Underestimate Earth at your peril. The moon remained our sentinel, silent and absolute. Earth's engineers deployed orbital stabilization units. Alien cities, fractured and abandoned, slowly began to recover under our guidance. "Every structure, every system, monitored," Sira noted. Humanity's patience had not ended with victory. It extended into control, ensuring the lessons of arrogance were learned and enforced. Orbital satellites coordinated tidal, magnetic, and tectonic stability. Population zones were stabilized, fleets grounded, and vital infrastructure repaired. The aliens complied, not out of trust, but understanding. Humanity's dominance was quiet, absolute, and reinforced by both technology and inevitability. The stolen moon, now Earth-controlled, remained a sentinel, watching over the recovering world with silent judgment. Orbital patrols maintained vigilance. Hidden satellite nodes monitored every corner of the subdued planet, ensuring no rebellion could rise. "They will learn restraint," I said. Humanity's victory was complete. yet the lesson would endure through careful oversight and calculated deterrence. Alien fleets, once arrogant, remained grounded. Cities operated under Earth's guidance, each pulse and adjustment monitored by orbital arrays. The Moon, reclaimed and repurposed, symbolized oversight and authority. Humanity had won not through destruction alone, but through patience, intelligence, and the unshakable dominance of strategy. The galaxy would take notice. We implemented educational protocols for alien populations. Knowledge of physics, orbital mechanics, and the dangers of arrogance was disseminated. "They must understand," Sira said, "or history will repeat." Humanity's patience was not mercy. It was methodical guidance, shaping the galaxy to recognize the cost of underestimating us. Orbital arrays pulsed lightly, reinforcing stability while serving as a constant reminder of our power. Cities thrived cautiously. Fleets remained grounded, and communication networks were restored. Humanity's victory had become a foundation for galactic order. The stolen moon, once a symbol of theft, now served as a teacher, sentinel, and guardian of compliance. Engistant sensors detected anomalies on the fringes of known space. Small fleets, unaligned with the subdued civilization, moved stealthily. "Other powers are watching," Sirat noted. The galaxy was vast, and while Earth's dominance was established, the seeds of new challenges were already taking root. We reinforced orbital arrays and recalibrated satellite networks, extending our reach beyond the subdued planet. Humanity's patience had brought victory, but vigilance had become the new war. The Moon remained a sentinel, and Earth's fleets were ready. As the shadows of distant civilizations stirred, one truth remained clear. Patience, intellect, and strategy would always define humanity's supremacy. Earth's fleet maintained orbital control, a silent reminder to the galaxy of human dominance. Satellites pulsed in quiet synchronization with the Moon, monitoring planetary stability and alien activity. "The galaxy has learned," I said. Yet beyond the horizon, distant lights hinted at untapped threats, waiting and watching. The subdued alien world thrived cautiously under our oversight. Humanity's victory was secure, yet our vigilance never wavered. The stolen moon, once a symbol of loss, now served as sentinel, teacher, and instrument of enforcement. And as satellites pulsed, one certainty echoed across the stars. Earth had returned, and patience, calculation, and strategy were weapons no civilization could ignore. Earth's fleets patrolled orbital corridors around the subdued planet. Satellites pulsed, monitoring tectonic stability, energy flows, and alien fleets. "They think compliance is safety," Sira said. "They are learning otherwise." Humanity's patience had become the ultimate enforcer, ensuring that no rebellion could rise unnoticed. Orbital nodes transmitted subtle gravitational adjustments to maintain order, preventing any attempt at escape or revolt. Alien commanders followed directives meticulously, understanding the consequences of defiance. The stolen moon remained a sentinel, silent and absolute. Humanity's victory was complete, but vigilance had become the new war. A quiet, calculated dominance maintained across space and time. Intelligence reports detected whispers of insurgent factions. Small enclaves of alien populations plotted rebellion, unaware of Earth's far-reaching surveillance. "They underestimate our reach," I murmured. Patience remained our strongest weapon. Letting them act recklessly only accelerated their undoing. Orbital satellites pulsed intermittently, subtly influencing planetary tides and magnetic fields to disrupt covert gatherings. Fleets were monitored and leadership isolated. Humanity's control extended beyond mere dominance. It was preemptive, reshaping behavior through silent oversight. The moon, reclaimed and repurposed, watched unflinchingly, ensuring that patience remained both punishment and deterrent. Earth's emissaries established integrated governance protocols. Alien leaders, though humbled, followed instructions meticulously. Every urban center, every fleet, every communication hub was mapped, monitored, and adjusted if necessary. Compliance is now engineered, Sira noted. Humanity's patience had evolved into systemic enforcement, shaping civilizations without visible aggression. Orbital nodes pulsed lightly, ensuring equilibrium and deterring hidden dissent. Coastal regions, tectonic zones, and orbital corridors were stabilized with calculated precision. The moon remained both watchtower and weapon, a silent reminder of humanity's intellect and inevitability. The galaxy had learned that to defy Earth was to face consequences orchestrated across physics itself. Distant signals reached our long-range sensors. Fleets and civilizations beyond the subdued system observed Earth's methods. "They are learning," Sira said. Observation alone sparked fear, ensuring compliance before confrontation. Humanity's mastery extended not just through destruction, but through knowledge and strategic presence. We recalibrated satellite networks, extending gravitational and magnetic oversight subtly across contested sectors. The stolen moon's influence became legend, a quiet instrument of fear and order. Humanity's dominance was no longer reactive, it was preventive, shaping galactic behavior without a single shot fired. Patience had become absolute power. Orbital arrays hummed in synchrony with the moon. Alien populations thrived cautiously under surveillance. Fleets remained grounded, and planetary systems stabilized. "They remember the cost of arrogance," I said. "The stolen moon, once a symbol of theft, now embodies inevitability." Humanity's quiet dominion was absolute. Across the stars, distant civilizations took note. Observation, discipline, and patient calculation became a new standard of galactic power. Earth had returned, not as a conqueror of firepower alone, but as a strategist, a sentinel, and an arbiter of cosmic order. The satellites pulsed, and one truth remained. Patience, intellect, and strategy were weapons no civilization could ignore. Orbital arrays swept across the subdued planet, ensuring tectonic, tidal, and magnetic stability. "Everything is holding," Sira reported. Humanity's patient orchestration had transformed chaos into control. Every city, fleet, and population center now operated under Earth's precise oversight, leaving no room for rebellion. The moon pulsed silently above, a guardian and enforcer. Alien leaders complied fully, fleets grounded, and infrastructure stabilized. Humanity had conquered not through firepower alone, but through calculation, patience, and intelligence. The galaxy had learned a vital lesson: underestimate Earth at your peril. Quiet dominion had become absolute. Distant signals detected faint movements at the fringes of explored space. "They are testing boundaries," Sira noted. Humanity's vigilance could not waver. Patience had won battles, but observation ensured continued supremacy. Every anomaly was tracked, analyzed, and countered preemptively. Orbital satellites extended subtle gravitational and magnetic influence across contested regions. Fleets monitored the edges of known space, while the moon remained sentinel over the subdued world. Humanity's dominion was both visible and invisible, reinforcing lessons learned from arrogance and ensuring order through silent, unyielding control. Earth's fleets established permanent orbital stations across key systems. Alien populations adapted under surveillance and guidance. "Compliance is now cultural," I said. Humanity's influence extended beyond force. Knowledge, strategy, and foresight became tools of enduring control. Lunar nodes maintained equilibrium on the subdued planet, while orbital arrays extended influence across nearby systems. Humanity's patience had matured into a strategy so absolute that rebellion became improbable. The galaxy had learned. Earth returned not to dominate by sheer force but by intellect, patience, and inevitability. Sensors detected distant fleets moving with discretion, testing Earth's reach. "They watch," Sira said. Even now, the galaxy is observed, analyzed, and anticipated. Humanity's response was calculated: readiness, patience, and silent enforcement. Victory was absolute, but vigilance remained the unseen weapon of dominion. Orbital arrays pulsed across subdued planets, tidal forces calibrated, magnetic fields stabilized. The moon remained sentinel, a constant reminder of consequence. Humanity had returned to the galaxy not as conquerors of firepower alone, but as masters of physics, strategy, and inevitability. Patience had become our weapon, dominance our legacy. Earth's fleets stood sentinel across key star systems. The stolen moon, now repurposed, orbited silently as a guardian of order. "We have returned," I said, "and the galaxy remembers." Humanity had rewritten the rules of engagement, proving intellect, patience, and strategy could achieve what brute force could not. Alien civilizations complied cautiously. Fleets remained grounded, systems stabilized. Humanity's quiet dominion endured across the stars, a testament to precision, patience, and inevitable victory. The satellites pulsed, and the moon watched. Earth had returned, and the galaxy knew that patience, intellect, and strategy were weapons no species could ignore, an eternal sentinel guarding humanity's supremacy. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.